creating interactive videos for instruction and assessment. So just some basics we're going to go over here is our purpose for all these meetings we're going through this week is to just look at how you're going to be able to transition your classroom environment into a blended learning environment. And what is that going to look like for you and your kiddos in your classroom? It's going to be different in every classroom. So this is just to give you a glimpse of what it could look like and different components that you could use. So the next thing that I wanted to talk to you guys about is the questions we're going to be going over today in this session. What tools are available for creating interactive videos? How do you create interactive videos? And how can you use these videos to assess students and their understanding in a digital learning environment? Any questions on that? All right, I didn't hear any door exits, so I'm assuming you guys are here for that reason. So one thing that I want to share with you is I created a Google Classroom for this session. If you want to right now, this is the class code to join that Google Classroom. It's going to give you a picture of why or what it looks like to be in a Google Classroom and receive some of these interactive videos. And it's going to give you that picture as a student. Okay, so why don't we take just a second, and those of you who want to log into Google Classroom, this is the code on the screen. You just go to Google Classroom in your browser, just type it in, and click on Join Class with the plus symbol. Hold on a second, I have somebody at the door too.
Looks like that's a real doorbell.
That's my doorbell.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm going to make that part of the test.
The real doorbell?
Yeah. I'm going to make that part of the final test for this classroom. Okay, so hopefully everybody has that Google Classroom code down. If you've been in other sessions like the Google Class session, you probably learned how to join a class. If you don't know how to join a class, please click on the chat button and I'm sure someone in here can help walk you through that. I'm going to go ahead and shoot over to the next slide. And these are the tools that we're going to specifically talk about today. Edpuzzle, PlayPosit, and Flipgrid. And all of these tools integrate with Google Classroom. You can pull things from your Google Drive. You can add in videos that are stored in Google Drive or even in YouTube into these tools. So if you were in Jennifer's session, Google 101, Google 102, if you were in Jennifer Colvin's sessions on just creating a video on your own and adding it to your YouTube channel, then those are going to be sessions that help you understand a little bit about the tools that we're going to talk about today. Okay? So before we get to the tools, I'm going to exit my view here and I'm going to show you, I'm going to go back to my Google Classroom and I'm going to show you what it looks like to be a student in my class and to see that I have posted new material and I've posted an interactive video because I want to give you guys an idea of what the videos look like that we're going to be discussing today. So if you are a student, that's exactly what you would do. Go to Google Classroom, click on the material I want you to see, and we're going to take and watch this quick 2-minute video together.
Every day, 7.2 million students walk into classrooms throughout the United States. These classrooms generally look the same. 30 students sit in rows of desks, taking notes in their notebooks, while the teacher stands at a whiteboard teaching a lesson. Regardless of ability level, each student receives the exact same information at the exact same pace. As Ms. Jackson presents the same material, the students respond differently. Tommy gets it, while Allison is bored, and Maria is lost. At the end of the day, these same students head home. While at home, they sit at the kitchen table doing their homework and trying to remember what Ms. Jackson said. Students like Tommy make it most of the way through the homework, while others, like Allison, find it easy and fly through it. At the same time, students like Maria get frustrated and need some extra help. Ms. Jackson recognizes that students have different needs and would love to work individually with each student, but this requires time and resources that her school does not have. One solution to this problem is the flipped classroom. Here's what it looks like. While at home, students sit in their rooms watching videos of the lesson that Ms. Jackson assigned. Tommy is still able to work at his normal pace. Allison is no longer bored because now she can use this new technology to fast forward through the easy material. And Maria is no longer frustrated because she can review the material that she didn't understand by pausing and rewinding. When she really gets stuck, she can get help from her classmates. New technology platforms like Moodle and Edmodo make it easy for her to chat online with her classmates.
Okay, so guys, the video is being interrupted at this point in time, so you can see what I mean by an interactive video. There's a formative assessment built into this video, and that was done using that program called Play Pose It, which we'll visit in just a second. So I'm gonna go ahead and answer this question. Everybody's seeing that, right? Jennifer? You're my co-pilot.
Are you talking about your screen or our screen?
You're seeing the question on your screen from my screen, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Telling you.
She's my co-pilot, guys. The plane will stay in the air. We got this. So I'm going to go ahead and answer that question, submit my answer, and then the video will continue. And it'll pop up with the next question because I had them pretty close together. No. Okay.
Just as the homework is different, the classroom is different as well. Instead of standing in front of the room speaking, Ms. Jackson walks around the room. She checks in with Tommy as he works collaboratively with some students. She pushes Allison further with some more challenging work. And she helps Maria with the pieces that she still doesn't quite get. In the traditional model, the teacher stands between the students and the knowledge. But with the flipped classroom model, the students have direct access to the knowledge, and the teacher serves as a coach, mentor, and guide, helping the students access this knowledge. The flipped classroom leverages technology in a way that lets both Ms. Jackson and the students make the most of their time and efforts.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and pause that. Over here on the left, you can see the questions that I answered when I was going through this interactive video. So first we had just a simple poll question, yes or no. Then we had a multiple choice question that popped up. If I had you guys connected to my Google Classroom, that bulb would have, it's called a bulb in Play Pose It, and I'll show you a little bit of what that looks like. But that bulb would have logged your email information, and it would have registered your answers as an individual student if you were filling that out following the assignment that I had posted in Google Classroom. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up Play Pose It so you can see that very first tool. And like I said, feel free to ask any questions if you have them. These are a few of the videos that I've used in the past, and they all have, let's go to this formative and summative assessment video. but they all have questions that were built into them so that I could use them in a session. Okay, so I just want to show you what it looks like as you're pulling in a video. You can choose, none of these videos are videos that I created. They all came from YouTube. I pulled them in and added them, and then created my own questions at specific points. And you can see those points down here at the bottom of the screen. They just show up as little dots in the play time of the video wherever I want them to play. So at second 14, the video stops and asks students this question about what they're learning. At second 21, this question would pop up, and so on at second 29. So I'm going to exit out of this and go back and show you how exit. I would actually have to exit. You add a new bulb simply by clicking on add a new bulb. They're called bulbs. I don't know for what reason, but they're called bulbs. And at this point in time, you just follow the prompts to either upload your own video that you've created, or upload a video from, actually, I'm sorry, a video from your computer, upload a video from YouTube, or upload and start to record your own video live in the program. So I've used this program for a couple of years. I really like it. It does integrate with Google Classroom, like I've said, but there are also some other tools that I like a little bit better than this one, but I still wanted to show you this one because it's so simple to use, really easy. Okay, so we're gonna exit out of here. You create your account like you do most programs now. You simply sign up using your school Google account. Okay, I'm gonna exit out of this. And then I'm gonna go back to my Google Classroom. What was the join code again to post in the chat? Sweet, Trina, I appreciate that. It's right here.
Yeah, it's in the chat.
Yep. Oh, it's already in the chat? Okay, well,
yeah.
I just saw that question, so I just wanted to add it. This is how I would interact with kiddos, right? Okay, so another program that I love, but I just started using this program, and my sister uses this program too. She kind of turned me onto it, is Edpuzzle. So in my Google Classroom, I created an assignment for Edpuzzle. And we're gonna go ahead and take a look at that assignment. I'm just clicking on the video link. And it takes me into Edpuzzle, and you can see, just like Play Pose It, I'm gonna have prompts and questions that I need to answer while I go through this video. And this video, like you see it here, it's from YouTube. So let's start it out. We won't go through the whole thing.
Welcome to U.S. history, the U.S. Constitution.
During the American Revolution, members of the Continental Congress wrote the Articles of Confederation to serve as a bond between the 13 states after declaring independence. This was America's first plan for government, and it was successful in governing the country during the Revolution and negotiating peace with Great Britain after the fighting had ended.
Okay, so you guys see the first question is popping up. So before you can continue to watch anymore, you would put in your answer. And just like Play Pose It, Edpuzzle integrates with Google Classroom. So any student who's in Google Classroom, I have that classroom connected to Edpuzzle, and it's going to prompt their information, and it's going to log all of their answers to these questions that come up in the video. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this video right here. At the beginning of the video, did you guys recognize that voice?
Yeah.
That was my voice. So the thing that I really like about Edpuzzle is you can go to your content. I'm going to go to, I clicked on content here, but that allows me to go back to my content where you see this video that I played around with. I didn't create it, but when I go in to edit it, let me go back here. When I go into edit, oh, I can't edit it because I've assigned it. That's a bad example. But I was able to lay my voice into the beginning, and at any point in time, I can take any of these videos. We'll go with one that I haven't already assigned, like this one right here, this science video. And it's already pre-created in Edpuzzle. So the formative assessment questions, I'm not having to add like in Play Pose It. They're already there. But there are several other teachers who have probably used this video and created different versions with different assessment questions in here. So you can take and you can delete, you can remove the questions, you can edit however you want. But this is, the editor tool is where you go in and add your voiceover and you create, maybe you don't want students to read the multiple choice question. Maybe you want to read it to them. For younger level students, I can see that happening. And that's where you would add that voiceover. Do we have any questions about that? That piece of the tool? Anybody who thinks that that would be useful in their classroom? I can't see you guys, so you have to speak up. Okay. And
it's very useful. I use it quite a bit with careers and doing a video where they have to watch about what a particular job is like and making them, putting questions in there so that they can make sure that they know exactly what they are learning instead of just ignoring what the video says.
Yes, and it makes it so personal. And here is where I think this will connect to even more teachers. Down here at the bottom on the side, you can see that not only does Edpuzzle connect to YouTube, but it also connects to Khan Academy. So if you are a teacher who uses Khan Academy all the time, but you know, I used it in Algebra 1 last year to help students, but I know the feedback I got from students was, I don't like listening to that video guy because I don't know him. I heard that from kiddos a lot, and they want some personalization from teachers that they're comfortable with. So this would allow you to take a Khan Academy video, pull it into Edpuzzle, and then add in your own teaching for students' benefit or your own feedback on whatever piece of instruction is in that video. Another thing that I think is great down here, our elementaries are in, they're using Engage NY. Eureka Math is based off of Engage NY skills and strategies that are built into those modules. Those are all available in this application as well. So SFA, Eureka Math, some of those materials are going to be here for you as well.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, well, I'm special ed, and I wanted to point out that you could have 2 different versions of the exact same video, where you reduce discriminators instead of having 4 multiple choice options.
Yeah.
Have 3, and it's real easy to just change the question. So
that's a great point.
And the kids would think they are all having the same assignment, but you know, the 4 or 5 kids have a modified assignment where it's just reduced discriminators or a word bank for fill in the blank instead of a just fill in the blank.
Yes, I like that idea. Have you used this tool before?
Not this specific tool, but I'm just, as I'm looking at what you're doing, I just wanted to share that, that sped perspective of, hey, this is easy to modify for your for your SPED kids.
Yeah, I'm going to point that out. And there are also built into this, we've had a large number of hearing impaired population, or hearing impaired students, not population, hearing impaired students at our secondary levels. So there is closed captioning in some of these programs as well. So that's a huge benefit, where you can just click on a button and it will provide those closed caption resources. So I'm going to go into this video so you could see, this is a video I had on my computer from one of the sessions the other day. And of course, that's a horrible shot. But I wanted to show you guys how easy it is over here on the right to just simply edit and add in your questions wherever you want. So I added in this open-ended question: why would you use screen sharing? Again, here's the voiceover tool. So if I wanted to speak before I was actually presenting the information in the video, I could do that. And you simply do that by just hitting start recording. And then here we have the option to add questions. Okay, any other thoughts or comments about how you see Edpuzzle being beneficial or useful in your classroom before we go on to the next tool? Something else I'll point out over here is, if I had you guys going through, here is my Google Classroom, the one that I asked you guys to join. If I had those actual assignments synced in, they would pull up after you give your answer, and there is a grade book built into this program. And that's exactly where you'd find it, right up there. So this is the only assignment I've pushed out, reviewing the US Constitution. But this label shows the label of our Google Classroom in the other program. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of that. Love Edpuzzle though. I'm really glad I got to see what it looked like from my sister's point of view. And then the next program we have is called Flipgrid, which I've used with teachers in sessions before as well. So you'll see the assignment here is, ooh, I totally misspelled that, and it's going to bother me if I don't edit it. Response. You're getting a live lesson right there. Click the link and access the video prompt. Create a video response using Flipgrid and check out your coworkers' responses. Remember to use your Western Heights Google account or email whenever you connect to Flipgrid. So I'm going to go ahead and click on this Flipgrid to show you exactly where it takes you. And this is me giving you guys instructions on what I would like for you to do in this. I would use Flipgrid. Let me state this first. I would use Flipgrid for formative and summative assessments as well. But I would prompt students and give them directions in this video on what I want them to do and what I want them to submit about whatever topic we're on. So since we're on creating interactive videos, that's our topic, I thought this could be your assignment.
Hi, Western Heights teachers. Thank you for joining this session, Creating Interactive Videos for Instruction and Assessment. So I just wanted to take an opportunity to engage you in using Flipgrid for assessment and ask you, how will you use interactive videos in your class as we move forward? Not knowing what type of digital learning or blended learning environment we'll be providing students. Think about that question and then use Flipgrid to send me a response. Thanks.
Okay, so that's me interacting with you, the student. Yes, I do actually want you to do that. But before you go and do that, and we begin to look at everybody's responses, I would love to show you what Flipgrid looks like from my point of view as the teacher. So you see I have a few options up here at the top. Your grids are basically where you create your classes that then become your topics of discussion. So if you are maybe an art teacher at the secondary level and you teach two different kinds of pottery, or not pottery, two different kinds of art, two different art medias. Maybe one class you have is pottery and the other one is drawing. I would definitely put those in what you call a grid, a separate grid. And you'll see I just have one grid here. I have another grid if we go back, and I'll show you what that looks like. But I have one for instructional technology. It's password locked and I forgot my password. And then we have one for digital learning, and that is going to collect the school email of anybody who tries to submit or participate in my Flipgrid sessions. So we're going to click on digital learning. And here you see the topic that I've asked you guys to respond on. I'll show you what it looks like to create a new topic. We're just going to call this test topic. You can add a question or a prompt that you want students to follow. Maybe it's a skill you want them to know and learn, so you put the skill there. I'm just going to put creating videos. And then you can do whatever you want to guide students into that Flipgrid. You can upload a video from YouTube like we saw in the other programs. You can record your own video, which is what you saw me do. You can, really, you have a lot of options here. Maybe you just add a GIF or you just add an image. Maybe you're wanting your students to respond. I'm thinking about art. And maybe you just present an art piece and you just want their response on what they see and the patterns they notice in that art piece. You would just upload an image. So I'm going to go ahead and exit out of here, but that is how you would create a Flipgrid. And I'm going to ask that you guys go ahead and show us if you can. And I'm just trying to figure out, this is my first session with this. So I was trying to figure out what it would look like if you guys don't necessarily drop out of the Zoom session, but you just pull up on another device, Google Classroom, and you respond to that grid. And then we would see your responses here. So who's going to respond? Right here. Respond. And if you don't want to, I'll go ahead and do it. But my recorded response would show up. And I have time to state, I'm just going to go use the art example. And so I would share that if I were teaching an art class, I would post an image of a piece of art, a famous piece of art, and possibly ask students to find patterns and colors that they notice in the art and describe those in a video. Or they could even draw them if I used the board. There are a lot of tools that you can use when creating your Flipgrid to submit. So, art example. And so I would share that once I get done with that, it's going to show me my response that's going to be submitted to the teacher. And I can take a selfie. So this would be logged to where my classmates could potentially see it. The teacher has the option, as you do in any program, to change it up and allow students to see each other's or not. It really depends on what you would like to do. And so my response shows up here, which is what we would get if you were responding as well.
So Carolyn, my understanding is that their response would be a video response. Is that correct?
It could be, but if you noticed whenever I was creating this response, it could be a video of, let's do the board here, where I've used this problem in a million sessions. But if I go ahead and hit 3, 2, 1, it's recording. Maybe I'm asking my students to actually submit where they're showing me how they cross multiply, because that's the assignment I gave them.
Okay.
Show me how you break apart numbers to cross multiply. So you really have a lot of options here with this.
Okay, thank you for showing me that. I didn't see that on my end when I went in.
Yeah, it does not have to be. You can even add text. So here's my text box, and I think I chose white, which is horrible. Yes, I chose white. But this would it would allow students to submit a response that is by video, but it's not necessarily restricted to videoing them. Okay? 2, 1, it's recording. And then another selfie. Because I got to be like my nieces. They always do that. Right, Jennifer? So I'm just going to add this down as, so you do get a response from kiddos that you can then really assess their understanding on an individual level. You could have kiddos build Flipgrid responses together, but this also allows you to go back and give them feedback. You can comment on, there we go. There's another one. I tried. That's perfect. That's perfect. Okay, so it was meant for me to kind of go through this quickly, because these really are tools that I'm just introducing you to so you can play around with them. You're not going to make mistakes. And if you do, I'll help you get out of it. But what I want you guys to do now is talk to me about how the potential of using these in your classroom. What are you thinking?
Carolyn,
Yeah.
can I use Flip? Can the kids download pictures from the internet if I ask them to go find examples of things?
Yes.
Like classic versus fads in fashion.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. That can be a part. Mm-hmm. Good.
Okay, I have a question. I'm trying to just wrap my brain around what this is, but so the responses that are coming, are they, you would use this, would you have to use this as a live, we're all doing it together now kind of thing?
No.
Or is it something on to any time and then I can just go back and look at those responses?
Right. So you could push this out in several different ways, but Flipgrid is a little bit different from Edpuzzle. It's meant to be a response tool. So it's meant to get those formative, or I mean, not necessarily summative, but formative assessment responses from kids where you want to really understand deep learning. And maybe that's you asking them a question. Maybe it's you presenting them a problem on a board, but they respond back to you in their own creative way. And so they have to critically think through, how are they going to give you that response? How is it going to show learning? Which would be a little bit more difficult with kiddos at the pre-K and K level. You would definitely have to show and walk through a lot in that that level kiddo. Sandy, did you?
I mean, if it,
go ahead, Lori.
I was just going to say, if just, I'm just trying to think of, you know, for my own classroom, say that for assessment for counting to 10, is that something that I could put out there that they just let me hear you count to 10 and go back and look at all of their responses and know whether they did it or didn't do it?
Yes, ma'am. It's that simple. Because what you can tell is that if a student knows how to, you push this out, whether you push it out on Facebook as a link, whenever a student clicks on it, they're going to get directions from Miss Thompson right here in a video. And you're going to simply tell them, show me a video where you count to 10. And then all that child is going to have to do, maybe at that age with the help of parents, But by first grade and second grade, just hit the plus button. And it looks simple. It's easy enough where kiddos know this is how I start to record, because they have devices where they do that anyway. Does that answer that? Sandy, did you have a question?
Yes, I did. So like when we were doing our distance learning thing, one of the things I did in classroom is I posted an assignment for them to go and observe some things and write for me.
Mm-hmm.
So could I, like, if we're having to do distance learning, could I ask them to like take pictures of something, or if they want, instead of writing a response or video response, if they took pictures like with their phone or whatever, is there a way to upload that as their response? Like, could they upload a photo?
Yes, right here. I had to double check that. So if we're teaching kiddos the same tools that we're using, if I were going to upload a photo, I'd probably be pulling it from my device, like my computer, or from Google. So if you're teaching them to take those photos, you have fourth graders, store it in this classroom folder in Google Drive. That's where you're going to pull that. We just have to explicitly teach them how to do those things.
Right. Okay.
Great question.
So could we also have them record their writing response like an SFA?
Yes. Okay. I'm not super familiar with how long those responses are in SFA, but you can pull up a response and type in text. So give me an idea of how long that might be.
Just 2 to 3 minutes, a complete sentence with evidence.
Okay, 2 to 3 sentences. So 2 to 3, yes, Goldilocks did steal from the 3 bears. And I haven't shrunk the text to keep it all on the screen, but that's how a student would do that.
So if I was going to use this with Nearpod and I was having them write their response out, and then I wanted them to record their answer and reading it aloud, could I do that?
Flipgrid fully integrates with Nearpod. Does that mean I have done it to know how it integrates? No, but I would imagine you can do it the way you described.
Okay, thank you.
What is the time limit on their videos?
I believe it was 1 minute. 1 minute, 30 seconds. So it shows you right up here. It has a little clicker, ticker for how long you have left.
Okay, so I just got to thinking about lesson plans with this. At the high school level for history, you know those jigsaws that we do where one group does this and then they go around and teach everybody else? This would be a really good way to do that. Is there a way that I can have it so students get to see the other responses, or did I just miss that?
Yeah, there's a setting when you set up the grid where you go in and identify. Right now, if you guys were refreshing your screen, you would see all 4 of these responses because I have it open. So all you would do to see and watch somebody else's
I see
response.
how in a career exploration class I could use this in multiple different ways. I could show them.
And you can go in and reply. So this is my reply because I clicked on the reply button.
Oh, okay, cool.
So that's why it popped up with this screen for me to reply back to that student. I like your thoughts on this.
And this would be a way to prep for a test almost too.
Yeah.
Like if you gave them a certain study guide, they could go in and be like, okay, this is the answer to this and here's why. And then people could reply and be like, okay, explain it again.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So Carolyn, do you think this would be something like, you know, in a college class you have discussion boards that where if you had students make their own video, but then you would have to say, okay, so to complete the assignment, you have to make your video and go in and reply to 2 other people's videos about what you thought of their video or how you would, to give critique?
I think that's a fantastic idea. We just have to make sure we teach that process and the expectation of that, of behavior and how we expect those to play out. But that's a great idea. You guys have awesome ideas. I love it. Anybody else have thoughts?
Carolyn, this is Coach G over at Greenville. My question is for PE assessments as far as locomotives and stuff for my younger kids. Is this going to be private to where I can just see their improvement, or is it going to be like how we have it right now on the screen and everybody's going to be able to see it?
Okay, so let me go back and take you guys. I have to minimize this screen here, but let me take you to.
I see y'all in a.
Oh, so sorry. It gets loud. Let me take you to the actual grid, and you can set up whether students see or don't see. Let me minimize here. And I have to remember where that, I think it's whenever you set up the main part of the grid here. So here's the grid. I can go in and edit, but down here at the bottom, not this part, active state, allow students to receive notifications, allow students to download and share after creating their video. It's in here. Let me go back and see if it's on the topic. Edit the topic. Here it is, right here. Student to student replies. So you can turn it off where kids can't reply to each other, where you're the only one who sees other people's videos. You get to customize that the way you think you should.
Okay,
Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Any other thoughts, guys?
I could see using this if my students are not able to do food labs in the classroom, they could do something at home.
Yes.
Show me.
Yes. That's a great idea. So a little bit about, I talked to, you guys heard me earlier mentioning my sister. She's a teacher in California, and when we went on spring break, they were beginning to figure out, okay, we're not going back to school, but their spring break was still 3 weeks down the road. So they got thrown into this, and she uses Flipgrid all the time. So we've been talking, and what you're describing, Miss Ramsey, is what she's having her kiddos do in her chemistry class. Show me how a change in state of matter. Show me where you've cooked something and that has happened, and describe that process. So she's using it in her chemistry, physical science, and biology classes. So I think that's a great idea as well. Lots of hands-on things you can do with this. Now, it does have to be short and concise, but you also don't want to be spending 10 minutes reading or watching each response. You want it to be pretty concise and to the point. Okay. So I'm going to exit out of Flipgrid, and I'm going to go back to this little presentation tool. I'm going to share this with you guys, this presentation, but I just wanted you to know what I have in Google Classroom. I also linked here under the words Edpuzzle, Play Pose It, and Flipgrid. So if you want to take a look at those, play around with them when we're not here in this live session, you're more than welcome to just click on it and play around with it, because you're not going to mess anything up. And then the next thing I kind of wanted to talk to you about is what this looks like for your assessment, which we've done a lot of talking. And so I threw in, you guys have great ideas, but I threw in an article that kind of gives you some feedback and or some best practices on how to give feedback to students, specifically when it comes to online learning. So whenever you get time, go ahead and take a look at that. We won't go over it all right now, but I just wanted you guys to have that resource. So I'll share this out with you a little bit later. And I appreciate you guys being on here. I think these are fun tools that I would love to use in the classroom. And like I said, I've used a couple of them with different teacher sessions and in classrooms I've been working in. So if you guys have any last thoughts, feel free to share them right now. And if you don't, then I really appreciate you guys being on and working through all these sessions with us, because I get a joy out of working with you guys.
This was awesome. Thank you, Carolyn.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for your time and showing this to us.
Very awesome. I liked it.
Good deal. Good deal.
Thanks a lot. I've learned a lot. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks, Mr. Stidham. All right. Well, I know we had a lot of chats in here. Jennifer, were you following up with these chats? Because I was not.
Well, some of them, yeah, but other, I mean, they responded to each other. So.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That is awesome. Teachers helping teachers feeds my soul. I love it. Okay, well, we'll see you guys later. Thank you so much.